What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring to you another vacuum that's in my vacuum collection, and it is another Oreck. What I have for your viewing pleasure today is another Oreck XL Classic. This one is a little bit different than the others that I've featured on this channel because this has a little bit of subtle difference as far as features goes. And now we'll go ahead and go through those later in their appropriate part in the video. But how I ended up getting this is I actually bought this on OfferUp for about $40. And it was in relatively good shape. Did need a bit of service here or there, but now that it's all done, here it is, ready to make its triumphant return. So let's go ahead and give a walkthrough of the machine. I said this is a little bit of subtle differences between the other two classics that I've featured on this channel. Is that one of them is this helping hand handle. The other ones didn't have it. That's pretty interesting about this, is that it has the helping hand handle. This is something that they've done in later years, I would think. But as you will notice, even though it has the helping hand handle, it does not have a handle-mounted power switch. The power switch is still down at the base of the cleaner head at your foot, which is very interesting and odd to me. So let's go ahead and move on down. You have your traditional Oreck lettering on the outer bag. It's that old diagonal style. This is simply amazing. The outer bag material, compared to the other classics that I've had, is a lot thicker. It's almost like it's the C-Lock Hypoallergenic Plus system. So let's get access to the inner bag. Typical Oreck CC bag system. Very nice and large. This is a HEPA cloth bag for better filtration. And the bag dock is actually back here. So you just simply pull back to release. And this is how the bag hinges on. And you will notice there's a little tab right here that hooks down into where this little slider mechanism is down here. But when you pull the bag out, the idea is it's supposed to catch onto that tab, and a little sliding door will actually close on the entry collar on the bag so that nothing puffs back into the air that you breathe. I find that really clever on these Orecks that they did that, because there's nothing worse than emptying a bag and dust flies back into the air. That's a very clever thing Oreck did to these bags. So when you're ready to use it, just put one back in, and then just make sure that latch is in place. Because if you don't, it will accidentally spew dust back in and collect across the outer bag, and then that will not be a very good day for you. Just make sure that is latched on before you shut the bag, so that you know the bag is secured on. And as you'll see, this one is kind of more of a gray color, which initially I thought this thing was white. But then again, the actual bumper itself is white. The color of the machine is actually more of a gray color, which looks pretty good. I'm surprised it isn't faded over the years. So usually a lot of these Orecks I've found that are supposed to be either gray or white, they've always had yellowed and faded plastic over the years. But it's good to know that this is still in good shape. And so typical classic Oreck fare, you have your foot-operated power switch right down here. You also have storage behind the outer bag as well that you can put down here. Things like extra belts or bags, which is a nice thing to have on hand. And also right over here, you do have your belt access door. Another clever thing Oreck has done to their vacuums is to give a little access door to change the belt. So you just undo this little Phillips head screw, slide it forward, and there is your belt. And you can change it out just simple without having to remove the brush roll. Very clever design on Oreck's part. Now let's go ahead and flip this thing underneath to show you the underside. Every time I get a Classic, I always like to throw in a brand new brush roll, simply because it's a wear item, and I always like this thing to perform at its best, so why not give it a brand new brush roll? It's only like about 20 bucks for one, so why not? The bristles are pretty soft, so that's one thing to point out, but they are extremely dense. That will do good for picking up things like pet hair and topical dirt very well, but unfortunately, because the bristles are very soft, the vacuum doesn't agitate as well. But it definitely does good at picking up topical dirt. That's one pro. And you will notice the bristles do form a chevron pattern to where it funnels dirt down into that center suction path right down there. And as you will notice, this is the later style base plate that has the wheels on the front of the base plate to allow this to better glide on bare floors without scratching the surface. But you also will notice there's a little rubber squeegee on the back here to prevent dirt from spitting down behind the vacuum, which is a thing for these since they do have a moving brush roll and they will not turn off. So that's one nice thing to prevent that from happening. You also do have edge cleaning brushes here on the side. Very good for like dusting off surfaces, but they're not good for what Oreck really wants them to do, and that's to edge clean. But they're just an okay feature. It's just not the best for their intended purpose. You also do have here a little belt storage right down here, which this surprisingly still has its replacement belt, but honestly I wouldn't use these belts. These have dry rotted over the years, so they would probably just snap as soon as you throw it in, or not last very long. But when I threw in this new brush roll, I also threw in a brand new belt. Not this one, but that's one thing. Also, let's show the model number to the cleaner. It is model number XL2200 RS. The manufacturer date for this is, if I'm reading this correctly, I think this is made somewhere in 2010, because the first two digits are 10, which I do believe decodes the year. So, made at the Oreck Cookeville, Tennessee plant. So this is made after the New Orleans plant got wrecked by the hurricane. 120 volts, 60 hertz, 4 amps. So not the biggest motor, but definitely pretty energy efficient for what it is. That's one nice thing. And with that, I think there's not really much else to say about this, other than let's go ahead and get to the part you guys want to see, the turning on and demoing of this thing. One thing I do like, since it has the helping hand handle, it does have a swivel cord hook on the top. So you just rotate it like that to release the cord. Much more convenient than having to unwind it manually. The cord is, I think, about 28 feet. Oreck advertises them as 30 feet, but keep in mind it's connected all the way down into the motor, and that it goes all the way up to here, so it sacrifices about 2 or so feet of cord length because of that, compared to if they were to tie it into the top of the handle, the ones that have the handle mounted power switch. But anyway, still a long enough, decent length cord. So we'll go ahead and plug this guy in. That is one thing I do not like about later model Orecks, is that they, for whatever reason, switch the prongs on them. So usually a lot of people like to align the little hook that is used to like hook to the end of the cord when it's wrapped up. They've always liked to align this with the ground plug up top here, but for whatever reason, Oreck decided to flip-flop the prongs so that you had to do it the opposite side. Very dumb, pointless move by Oreck, but not a major deal. So let's go ahead and turn this guy on, and we will give you a demo of this machine running. Now, typical Oreck fashion, these are pretty loud when they're running, so headphone users or those with sensitive hearing, I would advise turning down your volume for this portion of the video. So, here we go. Very smooth runner. Runs like any other Oreck I've used. The Classics at least. But it's a nice, simple, and basic vacuum. Not the most powerful thing in the world, but it gets the job done. I would definitely take it over a Dyson. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Oreck XL Classic. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.